Welcome to Odd Man Rush. This is our inaugural episode. So I'm just going to get into it, I guess. I'm going to start from my far left. My far left in the Penguins jersey is Brian Rokos. In the middle is Eric Vaca, and I am Nolan Morosky. I will be your host.
Before we go, what's the story on that jersey?
Yeah, how did you get the...
I see the signature.
This jersey was purchased in Czech Republic. It's a Jaromír Jágr autographed Pens jersey.
You can tell it's European.
No big deal.
It looks cheap.
Thank you. It's a replica.
It looks like you got it at Czech Republic Byway.
It was at Jaromír Jágr bar, actually.
Okay,
So is it really a Jaromír Jágr
Yeah,
bar?
yeah,
Really?
there is.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Is it called Jagermeisters?
No.
No. Oh, damn.
No. No, it's not.
Seems like a missed opportunity to me.
Yeah, he screwed up.
All right.
Alright, so basically this episode we're just gonna get into off-season stuff, the playoffs, cup finals, expansion draft, entry draft, trades, and free agency. So, my first question for both of you is, what do you think was the biggest surprise of the playoffs this year?
This is off season that we're talking about?
Before off-season, I guess
Okay.
playoffs.
All right.
Last season.
Last season and off-season.
Start with Rokos
Oh, sure.
because
Whoever.
I want to disagree with him.
Oh, of
But
course.
I'm not going to.
Of course. To me, I think the biggest surprise was Ottawa. I think the way they rode their trio of great stories through the playoffs, I don't think anyone expected it. Whether it was Clark MacArthur coming back after being hit in the head so many times,
Throughout
Anderson
his whole career.
for his whole career.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anderson, what he came back from with his wife, that was another good story.
However, another great surprise was actually the amount of teams that made the playoffs this year that weren't expected to.
Yeah.
Toronto being in there, Calgary. I mean, of course, I guess everybody kind of expected Edmonton to make it because of McDavid, but one player doesn't make a team, and obviously the rebuild happened quick out there. And even Edmonton getting past the first round, I thought was a big surprise.
Mhm.
But no, Ottawa definitely was the biggest. I didn't think that a blue line could withstand a playoff run with Phaneuf on it, but I was proved wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, my big surprise was that first round series between Chicago and Nashville.
Yeah, that was.
I didn't think Nashville was getting by Chicago at all.
Yeah.
You know, the way they swept them.
I thought that they would beat them. I honestly did. I thought Nashville was poised, especially with Johansson and stuff when he was still in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't think that it would be a sweep. That was a surprise. But I knew, I thought for sure that if Nashville gets by Chicago, that they would go to the finals.
Right.
Because the West, honestly, there was a lot of holes in a lot of teams there. Some of the teams you're expecting, like Anaheim and stuff, was aging. And, they've kind of gotten screwed. Being in the Central Division for years, going up against St.
Tough
Louis
division,
and other teams. I knew that they got past Chicago, they'd be going.
No, I think Chicago just ran into an incredibly hot goalie and a team that was just on a roll.
Pecorino is
Like
real.
Rene was just unbelievable in the first few rounds, and he just carried them.
Right.
It was amazing to watch. I think all that worry about Chicago, everyone's saying, "Oh, is Chicago, is their dynasty done?" I just had luck of the draw. Sometimes it happens. They got out goaltended. So,
My next question is: do you think Chicago is in a downhill slide from?
Well, no. It all depends on how long Kane and Taves can keep it up. That's all there is to it.
Right.
I mean, they brought back Sharp. Is he going to be the X factor to get him through the first round series? No.
They also traded away Panarin.
Yeah, that's because you can't keep that guy under the cap. You got too much money locked up with Kane and Taves.
That's true.
Way too much money.
It was an odd offseason for Chicago.
was
Absolutely.
weird. Very
But
weird.
I mean, it's easy to say, oh, you have too much money locked up in cap, but at the same time, you have 3 Stanley Cups in the last 5 years.
absolutely.
Right? So it's money well spent, obviously.
Yeah.
But yes, as long as if Taves and Kane decline further, then they're going to have to make some serious changes.
I think for the next few years anyway, as long as you have Kane and Taves on your team,
You'll be in.
You're
but
going to
are
be
you
in,
gonna win
and
another cup?
anything can happen.
Right.
Anything can happen in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
the
they
beauty
seem to
of
go
it.
every second year, so we'll see this
Yeah.
year.
Are you surprised Toronto took their series 6 games against the President's Trophy winning Washington Capitals?
Yes and no.
That's exactly what I
I, I was surprised that every single game was just that close.
Overtime, except for one.
5 out of 6 games into overtime, and they lost by 1 goal.
Right.
As much as I wanted them to do well, and that was kind of my dream scenario, that they're gonna play them well, they're gonna make it a series, and I didn't expect it to actually happen like it did. It was a good run. Great
Who would
series.
they have had second round if they'd won?
Probably Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh for sure. Yeah.
Wait, because they came in wild card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we jumped over to Metro instead of playing in Atlantic, right?
That's right. Yeah. So you think they would beat Pittsburgh
I have no idea.
if they had gotten past Washington?
No.
Well, I mean, it's easy to say because they're
No.
Stanley Cup winners, but
Mhm.
Toronto played better against Pittsburgh.
Kessler would have lit them up.
While we're on the topic of Pittsburgh, Matt Murray, was him coming back from injury the X factor in Pittsburgh winning the Cup, or was Johansson going down in the conference finals?
I don't think either of them was an X factor. You know, it wasn't Nashville's Cups to lose. It's not their time. You know, I'm happy that they got there because it shows they're growing. But I think even if Johansson was there and Matt Murray didn't come back, I still think Pittsburgh had the edge in almost every position. Johansson might have made it more of a series, like having that star power there.
Mhm.
But I mean, realistically, it was the kids that stepped up for Nashville and got him there. It was like
It was all those fourth line guys.
I heard
third and fourth line guys.
I
It was
heard more
Romo,
like new names that I had never heard before since I heard them being drafted during that series than in any other series. So I don't think either of those was really an X factor. It was kind of all
Nashville, they just play as a team. They just played a
They played
solid
the
team
solid
game.
system.
They didn't have the
System is
superstars unless you count Subban, but they just don't have those superstars that other teams have.
well, sure you don't need it, right?
Exactly.
Good
Mhm.
goaltending and a good system, and you can
Yep.
get there
Right.
for sure.
Is with Pecorine kind of coming out in the playoffs, do you think they're a cup contender next year?
Yeah.
I think they're gonna make it.
I think they've been cup contenders for a few years if they can stay healthy. I mean, they're not so far up against the cap that they can't add and remove at the trade deadline.
I mean, it looks like they're not bringing back Mike Fisher. So they're obviously gonna have a new captain next year, unless they do bring him back.
Mhm.
There's still time, but.
You know. I don't know. I think a healthy Johansson is gonna make a big difference for them.
Oh, for sure.
We'll see how
Yeah.
Rene holds up. He's getting a little older
That's
now.
another thing
so.
too. Yeah, he's on a bit of a decline. So
Yeah.
But they've got Saros as their backup. He's
Is
gonna be ready to take that step soon, though. I think.
Pecorine underrated? In your opinion?
I think he's overrated personally.
Really?
At this point, after this run,
See, the thing is that it was a great run. But Pecorine is somebody that it's always been touted to me as a superstar goalie, and yet
Yep.
I don't think I've ever seen him as top 10. Has he
Right.
ever been nominated for a Vezina?
Mm,
I don't think I've seen that.
I don't think so. No. He
Um,
might have been.
It's possible.
At one
I didn't
point,
look
yeah.
that up, but he's got solid numbers. He's in the nines every year, the low nines for save percentage. He's in at below that 2.15 or around that 2.15 goals against average. So yes, he's consistent and he's a good goalie. He's a great number one for sure. But he's touted on SportsCenter every night as being a superstar, and I really don't think that he is. So I think it's slightly overrated by the media. You might disagree with me.
not that I disagree. I think he's rated right where he is.
Right where he should be.
I think he's rated where he should be. He's been
mentioned that.
basically a perennial all-star for the last how many years?
Yeah, he's been.
He's been a great goalie for quite a while.
Did you hear the story about how he was drafted though? How Nashville, when he was playing in Finland, they got a hold of Nashville scout and said, "Listen, you have to come look at this guy. He doesn't play every day, but you need to come take a look at him." They went and looked at him, watched him warm up, and said, "Yeah, we're going to draft this guy." After a warm up,
That was in Karpat.
wherever he played. And I think he was behind. Was it Backstrom? Somebody over there. I can't remember, but they played every day and he never played.
So what does that say about your scouting when you watch somebody warm up and
You either
how would you
have
draft
a ridiculous eye for talent, or you're just lucky. It's
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on the luck
Blind-
factor
blind
because you don't know anything about how he is in the locker room. You don't know what his work ethic is coming out to practices. You're taking it all on the
Right.
faith of the coach that tells you that he's great. He could be just trying to get him out of the system.
That's true.
You
Yeah.
never know, right?
Yeah.
So,
Staying on the topic of Pekka Rinne, in my opinion, I'm going to go back to the New Jersey Devils, Anaheim Mighty Ducks at the time, their playoff series when Jaguar won the Conn Smythe and not even winning the cup.
that was an epic run.
I think Pekka Rinne should have won the way he took Nashville through those playoffs.
No.
In your opinion,
I'm
who do
gonna
you
have to
think?
disagree with
Who
that.
do you think won the Who should have won the Conn Smythe?
No, not Picarene.
No,
The finals ruined that. Even if there was a chance for that,
He
Matt Murray
didn't have a stellar
outperformed
finals.
him.
But throughout the playoffs, he was solid. I think his goals against average was under 1.
You got to look at the whole playoffs, but no. What Jaguar did in 03 was something that you'll probably never see again. Like, he was just unreal that
Mhm.
playoffs. And Rinne was nowhere near that.
Right.
He played well, but he
It's just
wasn't
under
anywhere
two.
near.
1.96. 1.96 goals against average with a .930 save percentage over the playoffs.
Yeah, if you want to believe Google.
I had Crosby down for the Conn Smythe. I don't think there's any question that even with the emergence of McDavid, that he is the best player in the NHL, and he will continue to be that for at least a little while longer.
But is that the reason why he won Conn Smythe? Because he's Crosby?
No, it's not at all.
This playoffs,
Anybody who watched the playoffs, you know, like it's so easy to say, oh well, Malkin had more points, and Kessel or no, sorry, what was his name? Gensel had more
More
goals.
goals. Yeah.
Sure, but were either of them really playing at the other end of the rink? Were either of them out there winning face-offs? Were either of them keeping their bench going when they were down in games? No, that's all Crosby.
I think this year it could have gone either Crosby or Malkin. Those were the two options. And I think either one would have been the right choice. I think last year's playoffs, I think it should have been Kessel. I think
Yeah.
that was the year they got it wrong.
Apparently
my
they were
opinion.
really close in votes from what I heard.
Kessel was unreal.
His coming out party
last
was
year.
definitely last year,
It
yeah.
was unreal.
Amazing what a difference a change in scenery makes, eh?
Well,
Yep.
when you play along a playmaker like Crosby, he's going to make anybody look good. And all that Kessel has is a shot. He doesn't back check.
Yeah.
Doesn't do
But
anything else.
We saw something different in the playoffs last year with Kessel, for sure. Like maybe not so much with the back checking, but he was an assist machine just as much as he was scoring goals.
Right. Let's talk about the expansion draft a little bit. What did you guys think of the expansion draft? What did you like?
I like the format.
The format of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was good entertainment.
for
It
sure.
definitely was. Yeah.
It made
I
it worth
agree.
watching the awards, which I never watch.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've watched the NHL awards, so
The NHL awards is the one thing in the off season where I honestly just go to bed that night and then the next day just scroll through.
Just
and see what
watch
won.
TSN.
Because I just
Yeah.
I've lost so much interest in that.
Or
Yeah.
Sportsnet.
Shout out.
Did Vegas pick who you thought they would? They didn't, in my opinion.
well,
I
our
mean,
little side bet we had where we
we-
picked our own Vegas
We did
team.
have a competition.
I
Ramos
won.
and I
crushed you guys.
had way more picks than this guy over here, but
I was picking for the cup next year. Though. Okay, I wasn't thinking like a long-term GM. I was like, who's the best players that I can fit under cap? You guys were just above the cap floor, and I think I was like 150,000 shy
I gotta
was-
think.
of the
I
ceiling.
think I was 1.5 million over the cap floor.
I think what they did was smart in a way. They got a ton of draft picks, which is the way you have to build your team.
Yeah, they know the system.
They know they're going to be there for at least a few years. They got a few years of possibly losing before they're going to be pressured in to start winning. And I think that was a good game plan by McPhee. He did make some questionable picks
Definitely.
that he just turned into
But-
that he traded away that were, I felt he could have got a lot more from those teams. It was a little questionable, but overall, I think he did a pretty solid job. Just load up for the future.
Do you think they're tanking next year then?
For sure, I think that.
Not on purpose, but
Well-
I don't think they're going to be a very strong team.
That leads me into my next question. Why are they trading
I
away?
think they're tanking.
Why are they trading away all their players? I
They're
mean, they trade away Mathot.
They picked
Who-
way too many defensemen because they know defensemen are at a prime right now.
They bring in Marcus Kruger, and then trade him away for future considerations. You know what I mean? Like,
there's another factor to think about too. You got a new team, and you want to build rapport with the league. You don't want to be, especially when the way your team starts is by sniping players from other people's teams, right? So you make those kind of trades that look like they're more losses for you, but you build a lot of rapport with other teams that allows you to trade with them later down the road. And those GMs are all tight like that, and the ones that are not tight, they do not get the deals that they want until they're desperate. So you can't really
Makes
blame
sense.
Vegas for doing that.
yeah.
But yeah, clearly I was way off on the drafting.
Way off.
What I get 2?
2.
I got 2 right.
Yeah, you got 2.
I should have put more thought into it in hindsight.
Yeah.
With all, the controversy over whether Quebec should have a team, Seattle should have a team, what do you think the life expectancy of the Golden Knights is going to be?
As long as revenue keeps going up, they'll be around forever.
The thing with the revenue is that, yeah, they sold out their number for season tickets, but I mean, a lot of their fan base is going to come from tourists.
Sure.
They do get a lot of tourists. I mean, it is Vegas.
It's all
Think
businesses.
about this though.
But
What's the number one thing that you get as a high roller in Vegas? You get comp to everything.
that's true. Yeah.
So those casinos on the strip are just going to buy
They're gonna
tickets
buy
like
tickets,
crazy.
yeah.
They're
Yeah,
going to
that's
have
true
blocks
too,
of
yeah.
tickets that are just
Yeah.
handed away on.
And no one's going to go to the game.
No, yeah.
No.
They'll be
empty
sold,
seats.
but it'll be an empty
Yeah.
arena.
They'll be making money, but
It'll
no
look like the
fans,
Leafs
right.
after the first period.
Yeah.
And scroll by those platinums and there's not a
Right.
soul. I thought they should hire seat fillers.
I think
They probably will.
He's going to fight tooth and nail to keep them
there.
Just look what he's done with Arizona.
Pro hockey in the South. He loves
He's
that idea for some reason.
obsessed with growing the game into foreign areas. He's going to go to China. He's crazy.
I don't think they'll go to China anymore now the KHL's going to China. I don't think they'll.
He just wants to
over
grow
there
the
now.
game. He
No.
thinks it's this huge product. He's got to face the fact that it's
The idea of
not the
overseas
same.
professional sports in our league is just ridiculous.
And the travel
It'll
too. You
never
gotta
happen.
take the travel into account.
Take a look what
especially
they've
with
done with
players.
football. For years they've been doing. They were
Stupid.
bringing Buffalo games to Toronto,
Yeah, they were going to
and
London
they
too,
just
right?
stopped that now
Yeah.
because nobody cares.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't want to talk about Vegas anymore. Let's get into the entry draft.
Amen.
Unless we're going down to get married
All right.
or get some strippers.
Oh.
Will Nolan Patrick or Nico Hischier, however you say his name.
Hisshire?
Hischier. Make it in the
Just like-
NHL, or do you think they're going to be busts?
No, they'll both make it.
I
They'll
think
both see solid NHLers. They might not be top line.
They're not going to be
superstars,
franchise players.
No.
they're not. No.
but they'll be there.
They'll
I-
be top
I can't
6
see
guys.
I can't see any reason why not.
I think Nolan Patrick is just
The days of the
he's a lost cause. That's my opinion. I
really
personally don't think he should have been taken in top 5 or top 10.
really. Who
I
would you
just-
put in his
I-
place. Who was there? Should have been there that
We'll
wasn't.
get into that later.
I don't know. I mean, they're going to be solid NHLers. The thing is that nowadays, the development is too good for guys to just bust. Like back in the day, you could get a first overall pick, and he might play 30 games in the NHL and then he's done,
Yeah.
right? But nowadays, they're scouted way too early. They're developed all the way through that whole process, and these teams aren't going to pick them if they're going to be bust. They can't afford to waste a top round pick like that. So I think from this point forward in the NHL, any people you see pick top 10, you're going to see in the NHL for a long period of time.
There's always exceptions. but
Yeah, I mean the odd one-off guy
These
blows out his
teams
knee
have-
and it's never the same or whatever.
They just have their scouting staff alone is just insane. It's not the same as it used to be. But
Let's say pending injury, I can't see any top 10 pick not making the NHL anymore.
and that's the big knock on Patrick, is his injury problems.
It's the injury problems. Like
Now he has an infected
he's
face.
not playing development
boil.
camp because he's got an
Something crazy
infected
like
face.
A Dan Boyle.
Poor kid.
A Dan Boyle?
Yeah.
Or Brian Boyle?
No, he's got a Dan Boyle.
Okay.
Got to open up the infection ward at Lupo Memorial Hospital.
Yeah, Liverpool Memorial. I love it. There's a few guys in there.
Yeah.
I mean, my opinion on top 3. I think Nico Hischier definitely should have been first overall, not Nolan Patrick. But Toronto picking at 17 Timothy Liljegren, who was supposed to be top 3 all year long. Mono. Leafs take him at 17. Do you think that was a steal of the draft?
I think it's shaped up to be one of the steals for sure. I think in my eyes, the 2 big steals were Liljegren at 17, and I think Klim Kostin dropping down to 31. He was a top-ranked European skater, and he dropped down to 31. There's that Russian factor. I get that.
They don't like taking Russians early for some reason.
It's unbelievable how far he dropped.
Okay, explain to me this then. Why was where have you say it? Liljegren?
We'll learn.
These
Liljegren?
names are
Liljegren?
Lil Jurgen. Lil Jurgen.
Jurgen.
Well, why is he better than Pierre-Olivier Joseph? Joseph's bigger,
Who's
stronger.
I never heard of him.
The biggest thing that sets him apart is his skating.
He would like.
Liljegren was probably the best skater in that draft.
Okay.
The guy can just straight up fly. And today's NHL,
But what is
a
that?
mobile defenseman
Is
like
that
that.
what Toronto's looking for? Or
They
is Toronto
need a-
looking for a big shutdown defenseman?
They're
Both.
looking.
You got Pierre-Olivier Joseph, 6'2", okay, versus 5'11" of Liljegren. He's 6 goals, 33 assists with 62 games played in the Q last year.
Yeah,
39
that's
points.
Nothing.
He was great in the playoffs.
Oh, that guy. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
I mean, on flow alone, yeah, Timothy Liljegren was better. And if you were looking for that,
Flow.
yeah, he had an unreal flow.
Not anymore.
But,
Yeah, you cut it off.
well, yeah, he's playing under
Yeah.
Miami now, right? So,
Lamoriello got a hold of him for sure.
but no, I don't know. I thought that, honestly, for what the Leafs were looking for, I didn't think that was a better choice.
Pierre.
Yeah.
Pierre.
You got
I
Riley.
think it's Olivier.
You got Gardner. You need
You
someone who
need
can
someone
crush
playing the right side with one of those guys. He fills in that top 4 spot with Zaitsev.
Oh, for
Put him
sure.
with Riley in a
For
couple
sure.
of years.
Yeah.
Riley, Gardner, Zaitsev, Liljegren. It's basically all the same defensive.
Yes and no.
They're not. We're not going to see Liljegren for 2 years because he's going to play. He said he's already playing 1 more year in Sweden. He's then the next year he's most likely going to spend a year in the American Hockey League. So we're not going to see him in the NHL for 2 years, I would think.
Year or two.
I don't know.
You
I
think
just
he's going to
don't-
make the jump right away?
No.
I don't either.
Well, maybe. Who knows? You never know what guy's going to do when he's put into a system, right? Obviously, if he's staying in Europe, maybe not. But
Right.
He'll be at least a year. At least.
we'll get to see him in preseason anyway, probably.
Where would you rank this draft compared to recent drafts?
Poor.
Yeah.
I would too, definitely. Definitely
Say
lower tier.
It's probably on par with 2012. But again, you just don't know. You give these kids 3-4 years.
They could be unreal.
There's going to be some surprises that went in the second, third round that we just didn't expect.
Who came
it
out of the
always
20
happens.
Did anybody good come out of the 2012 draft?
There was a few ones, but they went later. 2012 draft was one of the weaker ones for sure. But I would put it right around there.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't think it was. There was really not a whole lot of buzz leading up to it.
No.
So, I mean, like, I remember last year and the year before, the McDavid draft, all I thought about was all the draft picks all year. Like, I was following it. I didn't really follow it as much this year as I did. Okay, I got Yakupov,
There's
Murray, Galchenyuk.
going to be good players, but there's not going to be any superstars. Just
Right.
like the 2012.
That's, 2012 was when Philip Forsberg went.
Forsberg
over
was
there.
probably
Forsberg.
the
Yeah.
best one out of that.
Well, Galchenyuk is good too. He hasn't really. He can't thrive in that system.
He needs to.
Go.
He needs a change.
He's
for
got to
sure.
go. Stefan Matteau.
All right. I asked you guys.
Who did Toronto take? Oh, they took Riley. Sorry, go ahead.
I asked you guys to pick a trade that you liked, a trade that you hated, a free agent signing that you liked, and a free agent signing that you hated. Okay, we're gonna start with Rokos.
Good, because I'm not ready.
What was your favorite trade so
Uh,
far of the offseason?
I think one that I really didn't like was the Hamonic trade.
Okay.
I think what Calgary gave up to get Hamonic was just way too much.
Too much.
Yeah, it seemed
I
like
think
too
he
much,
makes them one of the best top 4 in the league,
Right.
and I could see the need there. But to me, it didn't make any sense when you have Michael Stone, which they ended up re-signing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You had Michael Stone there who could fill in that top 4 spot on the right side, and you go out and give up what they
Hamonic.
give up: a first rounder, second rounder, and 2 second rounders.
Right.
for a guy who's good, but he's not even an all-star. He's a second pairing guy.
Right.
To give up that, I found that to be insane.
Yeah, that might
was
come
bad.
back to bite him.
Oh, it's going to come back to bite him. It's that Brian Burke.
They might look back on that the same way the Kessel trade to Toronto was.
Oh, absolutely.
Where
It
it's
can
like,
set them
we
back.
could have had.
If they don't win this year or the next 2 years.
Hamilton, we could have had
Sagan.
Sagan.
Yeah, it's.
Okay, that was your
But who
least
knows?
favorite trade.
My least favorite was the Eberle Strome trade, and I know that you swear by it, but I mean, Eberle never got a chance to show what an absolutely amazing player he was in Edmonton until McDavid got there. And now that he's there and you have this great serviceable winger,
He's gone.
Right.
Right.
And for Strome, who, well, is still young, he's never really impressed me ever once in his career,
He's
even
been
in
a
junior.
complete bust so far.
Yeah,
He's done nothing.
I just feel like Eberle's going to thrive next to Tavares if he plays with them, and that's going to come back to bite him.
Right. Well, my favorite trade was the Edmonton Eberle and Strome trade.
Yep.
And
I
I'm going to
can't wait
convince
to
you
hear
guys
this. I
right
can't
now,
wait.
okay?
Okay, I'm going to let you know right now on my scale, I am at 10% that this is a good trade.
All right.
See how far you can move me.
Okay. Yes. Cap-wise, it's great for Edmonton. Because they freed up, what was Eberle? 5 point... What was it? I got to bring it
They
up.
said, don't worry, we'll trade Eberle so that we can pay you more, Connor. Is that what it was?
Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, and Leon.
But the way when I first saw this trade, I initially kind of went to the player's perspective. Both those players definitely, I find, yes, McDavid came and Eberle it sparked his play. But I think both those players needed a change in scenery.
It'll be good for the players. There's no doubt about that.
Ryan Strome.
Both players, yes.
Ryan
Absolutely.
Strome has
I'm at
works
11%.
out with McDavid in the offseason. I think they're going to play on the same line. I think Strome is going to stick to the wing.
I could work out with McDavid. It's not going to make me a better player.
Nothing will make you a better player.
That's true. But I'm just saying. That means.
Okay, I'm going to give you
nothing.
another 2% because of that.
We're
I'm at 13.
We're at
13%.
13%.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Just listen. Hear me out. He
I'm
works
going
out
to keep
with
interrupting you.
He works out in the offseason with McDavid. He's already got a little bit of chemistry with him that could lead to the ice.
Lifting weights.
Jordan Eberle on ice workouts. Locals. On ice workouts.
Ooh,
Eberle,
Lifting weights on ice.
you bring
it's tough to do.
the World Junior aspect into it. Eberle and Tavares were unreal together in that World Junior, and now they're playing together on the Islanders.
I am happy for Eberle. I don't think I'm saying it was a bad trade for.
It was
for
a bad trade for Edmonton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they should have kept him.
I liked
Or
it.
gotten more for him.
I liked
Get
it.
rid of Nugent Hopkins. Why do you even have that guy?
Yeah.
Like, there's no need for him anymore.
I've never been a big fan of the Nuge, to be honest.
Now you have
I don't like Nugent Hopkins either.
you have a guy who's going to
We're
put
all
up
in agreement.
he's going to put up over 100 points a season for the next 10 seasons. You don't need superstar centers anymore. You need good grinding,
But
solid centers that are going to wear down the other
Clutch.
team.
You need clutch wingers.
Who's
Strong-
more clutch than Eberle?
I will love him forever for what he did in the World Juniors.
Yes, absolutely.
I will never forget that.
That goal with 5 seconds left or whatever it was.
It wasn't even
3
5.
seconds.
it was like point something, I think.
Yeah, I almost passed out.
Yep.
Okay, my least favorite trade. I know you guys have voiced
We did
yours
our
already.
least.
Is Calgary Flames and Arizona Coyotes, the Mike Smythe trade. I don't like it both ways. I don't like it for Calgary because they've already been down this road with Elliott, bringing in an old goalie,
Yep.
and it not working out. I think it's just gonna happen again where Mike Smythe
He's 2 years older, I believe.
he can't play.
How old is he now?
He's
37, 38.
Yeah.
So he's nearing the end.
Oh, absolutely.
So is he
Like I said,
he's not
Calgary-
projected to be number one.
Calgary
is he
has a
though?
1 or 2 year window right now if Mike Smith
Mhm.
pans out.
And then
Like-
and then
I don't
Arizona.
think they can make it with what they got.
No.
Arizona, you give away your number one goalie for how many years? Forever? For Chad Johnson, who's a UFA, doesn't even sign with them, signs with Buffalo.
Yeah.
You get Brandon Hickey, unsigned college defenseman, who you have a 50-50 chance of signing him because he's probably not going to sign with them. And then you get a conditional third-round pick that nobody knows what it is yet. Like, you pretty much gave Mike Smith away for nothing.
Well,
Arizona's turning a new page.
what was
youngest
what was
GM.
Smith's contract?
I
They're
get
trying
you
to
get
go young.
I get you
got
got
rid of Doan, got rid of Smith. I get it.
I get you got Ranta, but why didn't Calgary go after Ranta?
His
They could have got him easily.
Calgary's making some questionable moves.
Sorry,
They're
did
very-
anybody
Brian
answer my
Burke.
question?
Brian Burke. It's the it's the curse of Burke.
Mike Smith has truculence, tenacity,
Yeah.
pugnaciousness,
Truculence.
or whatever
Yeah.
he said.
Yeah.
So who's going to be number one, Smith or Lack?
It'll be Smith.
Smith.
Smith is gonna. They already said he's number one.
100%. Lacks a
And he carries a
1B
cap hit
option.
of 4.25 versus what did so was Arizona on a money dump there? Is that the only reason?
They just wanted to get rid of the contract. They wanted to get rid of the aging goalie.
Yeah.
They want to turn a page. They're ready to take the next step.
It was just a bad move for both teams. You got nothing back for him.
Might as well not have happened, realistically.
It happens. Sometimes it's better to get nothing back and get rid of the player.
Yeah.
It's the way
There's
it
been a
goes
lot
sometimes.
of trades like that.
Absolutely.
Like the Nathan Horton trade.
Nathan Martin.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite, least favorite, and favorite signing so far?
I have
For the
2
Dolphins.
for worst.
2 for worse. Okay.
Yeah. Radulov 1.
Yep.
I think
Okay.
is way too much, way too
much
long
money.
of a term.
I think so too.
That was
And
the
his
worst
player-
move ever.
And
It has
his track record of not
terrible history.
going through.
He was great last year. I'll give him that, especially in the playoffs. He was a monster. But his numbers during the regular season were
Easy McGuire.
up there. He was-
Want me to bring out the pen?
yeah.
Calling them anybody monsters. Okay, we don't want to
He
get
was.
copyright infringement.
He was a monster. But I can't believe he got that much. 6.25
Yeah,
over
it's-
5 years.
I put that in bold as my worst signing of the offseason.
I thought Montreal was going to sign him for that. I really thought Montreal was going to spend the money because Bergevin has a history of making some questionable
Mhm.
moves. Bringing that in, I think Alsner signing was another one of my worst ones. I like Alsner.
Too
Right.
much?
Good defenseman. I think it was too much and too long of a term. I think he should be worth less. It wasn't the worst, but I just
Yeah.
think 4.6.
It's nowhere even in the range of the Radulov thing.
No, it's not. Radulov was number one for sure.
We didn't talk about the Sergachev Drouin trade.
No.
I put that down as my best trade. Just started to backpedal a little bit. I think that Drouin is actually, since he's straightened himself out, he's going to be a superstar. There's no question. And I think that even though you're giving up something on your back end, I think that that's something that they desperately need in Montreal.
Sergachev
Desperately.
is shaping up to be a top pairing defenseman.
For sure.
I think they could regret that trade.
You think so?
I think so.
I don't know. I think Drouin is.
He's a good player. I don't think he's going to be that much better than he was this past year.
He was unhappy in Tampa for a while, and he was a bit of a diva, and that's what got him in the doghouse. But once he came through that and showed what he could do, like just watching him, even in like the 3-on-3 overtimes, any situation you put him on the ice, the guy is as clutch as anybody, right? And I don't know. I really think like Sergachev is going to be great. There's no question.
Yeah.
But I think Drouin is going to be a desperate drink of water for Montreal.
Well, they need the offense.
Oh, big time.
That's their biggest problem.
All right. What was yours, Eric?
For free agency?
Yeah.
I hated the Radulov one. That's the only one I really
Mhm.
hated,
Mhm.
obviously.
What's your best?
I had the Hemsky signing and
That was
Sharp.
good, yeah.
I like
Yep.
to see those guys go
Sharp.
in a place
was
where
one
they
of
can
They're
win.
comfortable there.
I like those signings. The aging guys that used to be stars getting signed for 1 year, $1 million deals.
Yeah.
There's no risk, and the reward is
Right.
possibly
Yeah.
unreal. Where you have Camilleri signing in LA, going back to LA 1 year at $1 million, and you've got Sharp going back to Chicago.
Mhm.
I think it's gonna light a fire under his ass.
Yeah, I like to see Sharp in Chicago. That's where he should be, and he should be there till he retires.
Yep.
He has his best years there, and I never thought he was really a great fit down there in the South.
No, it didn't work
He's
out for him.
just, he always seemed like he was sitting behind the Jamie Benn, and Sagan thing. Solid
Mhm.
player, but not really a good fit for him. He's better up there in Chicago. He needs to play in the cold.
I think he's gonna have a good year. So
Yeah, and Hemsky, I like to see him have a good year too, because I
Yep.
think he's still got something in his legs. So being aging players signed
Something.
for less, where's Is Yager going somewhere? Since you're sporting the jersey.
Oh, somebody's
I'm
got
the
to
host.
sign.
I asked the questions. here.
Somebody's got to sign Yager.
I didn't see it on my question list. So.
I'm
it's not-
begging that someone signs Yager. I want to see his run continue. I would love to see him just keep playing.
I don't really care anymore.
Oh,
Okay, here's a
I
question
don't.
for the viewers. Where do you think Yager's going?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
We'll leave it
There
up
you
to
go.
them. I'm gonna get into mine just quickly before we wrap up here. My favorite signing, I liked it, was Patrick Marleau. 3 years, 18.75. He had a 6.25 AAV.
And it's the same signing. It's the same thing as what we're talking about. Older players.
Yeah,
Exactly,
I
but-
think the dollars was pretty high. I would have liked to see it.
They won't
quite
be
a
able to
bit
do it
lower.
3 years though.
Yeah.
I see
When
where
the-
it works for them, where Toronto is in, what position they're in right now. It makes sense.
Yep.
But when you just look at the overall, what he's worth, I think it was a little much.
Right.
He's signed for leadership. That's all it is.
That's
100%.
what it
It's
is.
It
to
just
show
seems
the
like
kids,
mentor
this is how you
Matthews,
win in the
basically.
It's a
NHL.
lot of money to give.
It's money they got, though.
They have the money, and they're in a position where they don't have to sign the big three for another couple of years. So it makes sense right now.
My
But other than that,
my least favorite was most recent Carolina, Jacob Slavin.
it was a good.
I
deal.
just 7 years, 37.1 mil, 5.3 AAV. He's 23. He hasn't even played 2 full seasons in the NHL. He's played 54 and 3/4 seasons. And why would you give that much money to a guy when there's something called a bridge deal, where why wouldn't you wait another year when his entry level's done, sign him to that bridge? If he continues his numbers he's putting up, then give him that 7 mil. Why would you give him 7 mil now?
You know, Carolina needs,
I can see your point.
Carolina needs to do something.
They're also in a market that gets no attention. That's the
It's
type
true.
of player that in Canada we just don't really know
But
anything about.
they could have dumped that money on somebody better. You know what I mean?
I read.
I
an
think that's going to
article-
end up being a good signing.
I
It
read
will
an-
down the road, but I'm
It
just
will.
saying, like, right now, it doesn't make sense to me. I just don't
But
understand it.
he could be a top pairing guy in 2 years.
And then you
he
got
could
him
be
locked
that.
down for 5.
He could be that number one guy that should demand 8-9 million,
Right.
and they have him locked down for that.
It's a risk.
It
It's
is a risk.
risk-reward thing, big time. Same as the Sergachev Drouin trade.
Yep.
Very risk-reward.
It's tough
Right.
being a GM. Absolutely.
It's easier to be here.
Yeah,
Behind this
absolutely.
desk.
Armchair GMs, way easier.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought Montreal did well with their offseason, but then again, I thought they did well with their offseason last year, and didn't really seem to get them over the hump.
Yeah.
So
Anytime you got one of the best goalies in the league, you got a chance.
do you think that that's the only reason? Do you think they'd be basement or close to basement without Price?
Look what they
Sorry, I'm
were.
asking your question.
Look where they
I
were
know.
2 years ago.
Want to switch spots?
Price went down for the whole year. They were just terrible.
Every time he's gone down, they've been terrible. Then they fell off the cliff. Yeah, that was almost completely. But I think it got in their heads a little bit. I think they were a better team than it showed, which is why the coach didn't get fired that time. He's fired now. Okay, what's the worst blogging website? Is it Sportster?
Sportster.
Oh, Sportster, 100%.
Sportster is crap.
They've got to
Saying
be
right now.
That
the absolute
needs
worst.
to be wiped off the face of this planet.
Like, if you're going to talk about a player, at least get their picture right. Please.
I don't know. We might be the worst after this.
No.
We'll see.
10 times better than Sportster right off the bat. At least we know what we're talking about. Well,
We'll let our viewers
kind
be
of
the
know
judge.
what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody, for watching. Hopefully we get, enough people watching this that we can continue doing it. We're going to try and do, a weekly show, if we can.
Check us out. Leave a comment.
Yep.
Like and share. We'll get it going. And we should have some more segments too
Yeah.
coming up soon. But
Oh
this
yeah,
was a
big plans.
good pilot. I had fun.
It was
Good talking to you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Go Vegas, go.
Go
Yeah.
Golden Knights.
Yeah, I'm Golden Knights fan now.
Apparently I'm a Penguins fan, so.
What jersey are we going to
three-peat.
see next week?
Oh, stay tuned.
There you go. Cliffhanger.
Hmm.